Prince William and Prince Harry's brotherly bond was put on display during the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's most recent visit to the UK. The two princes were united in grief as they mourned the loss of their grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II, and joined forces for the first time since Megxit. However, Christopher Anderson, author of the upcoming book The King, The Life of Charles III, has claimed the Prince of Wales is still holding a grudge against his younger brother and his wife. The biographer was a guest on last week's episode of the Today for Daily podcast. He and host Kinsey Schofield discussed the book, which is the first biography of the new monarch since he inherited the throne, and speculated about what's coming next for the royal family. They referred back to the state funeral of the late Queen, examining the events leading up to the solemn day and the dynamics between certain members of the family. Harry and Meghan Markle had reunited with the UK-based royals for the first time in several months and, according to Mr. Anderson and Ms. Schofield, relations between the Windsors appeared to be strained. Mr. Anderson said, "In the very beginning, Harry was not allowed to wear his uniform. This was in the early days of the mourning period, but Andrew was and Edward was." The author went on to explain that Prince Edward was never in the military, as he only partially completed his training during a brief stint in the Royal Marines. Meanwhile, Andrew relinquished his royal duties and was stripped of his military titles amid controversy surrounding his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein and his subsequent civil case against Virginia Roberts Giuffre. Read more. Meghan Markle defies archetypes guest and refuses to reclaim charged word B*****. Ch William still holds a grudge against Harry and Meghan. Image, Getty Images. Both William and Harry wore their military uniforms during the vigil. Image, Getty. Unfortunate Kate and William issued royal warning over taking nearly 4 months off. Kate, the Duchess of Cambridge and Prince William have been warned that they must give up holidaying like it is a competitive sport. This comes after the couple has spent nearly 4 months off from their royal duties in the last 18 months. Find out more here. He continued, so obviously, there was an outcry as a result of that. Charles flipped and allowed him, Harry, to wear his uniform at the vigil of the grandchildren. But it never looked to me as if the Sussexes were comfortable during the funeral. They could hardly wait to get out. Mr. Anderson added, and of course, I think William is still holding a huge grudge. He referred back to the Wales and Sussex's first joint engagement during the mourning period when the couples came together outside Windsor Castle to greet well-wishers and read tributes. He said, there was no connection. They were all going in different directions. I don't think it's going to end well. The biographer continued, if there ever was a chance for them to mend things, I suppose that was it. But then again, this book is hanging over everyone's head. William, Kate, Harry and Meghan joined forces for a surprise engagement. Image, Getty Images. Trending Ms. Schofield interjected, and Netflix, before adding, and at the time, every week, Meghan was saying something that hinted towards her unhappiness over the last few years, in her situation in the monarchy, on the podcast. So every week, the royal family is getting hit with these big references to Meghan, feeling silenced, or ambition is dirty. So I am sure that the family was fed up at the time. The podcast's host referred to the Duchess of Sussex's weekly Spotify podcast, during which she speaks with various guests and challenges archetypes that are frequently used to label women. Her first episode saw Meghan sit down with her long-term friend and tennis champ Serena Williams about the negative connotation surrounding being an ambitious woman. The pair talked about their professional roles, Meghan's as a working royal and Serena's as a sports star, and the challenges they faced as a result of their ambition. It came ahead of the Duchess' explosive interview with The Cut in August, during which she hinted at being silenced by the institution and appeared to make a threat, telling journalist Alison P. Davis that she can say anything. Don't miss. Meghan Markle admitted she has a food fixation, on podcast Insight. Who is your favorite member of the royal family? Poll. Prince Harry obsessed with staying relevant over Prince George, revealed. Meghan spoke exclusively to The Cut about life after leaving the firm. Image, Campbell Addy for The Cut. She said, "It's interesting, I've never had to sign anything that restricts me from talking. I can talk about my whole experience and make a choice not to," telling the interviewer that she doesn't talk because she is still healing. Meghan went on to say, "I think forgiveness is really important. It takes a lot more energy to not forgive, but it takes a lot of effort to forgive. I've really made an active effort, especially knowing that I can say anything." The interview was widely criticized by royal commentators, who called out the Duchess for launching unnecessary attacks on the royal family. It was published just over a week before the Queen's death, and Meghan has seemingly taken a different approach when it comes to discussing the firm since the family's loss. Last month, she sat down for an interview with Variety magazine and opened up about how she and Harry were mourning the loss of the monarch, who Meghan deemed a shining example of female leadership. The Duchess also admitted to having time to reflect on her remarks in the Cut interview. Meghan and Harry attended the state funeral in September. Image, Getty. She was asked, "You've done 2 major interviews since returning to America, one with Oprah Winfrey and the other with New York Magazine, which some found to be snarky. What has it been like to open up about your life now?" She responded, "The New York Magazine story was intended to support archetypes and focus on our projects. I've had some time to reflect on it. Part of me is just really trusting, really open. That's how I move in the world. I have to remember that I don't ever want to become so jaded that that piece of me goes away. So despite any of those things, onward. I can survive it." Meghan went on to say Archetypes aims to look at nuances surrounding the women she interviews, striving for candid, real conversations that depict the layers and dynamics of the individual. She explained, "And that comes with a lot of pieces you can choose to include or not. I choose to include something that I feel is fair to them and also uplifting. And something we can all learn from." Pre-order The King, The Life of Charles III by Christopher Anderson here.